Hi everyone, welcome back to Lifting the Lamp. I'm Frater Eleftheria and I've got a bit of a different type of a video format for you today. I'm just stopping as I've been taking a walk through nature. It's very beautiful here. Lovely tall canopies. The sun is just going down and I'm really grateful that I have an opportunity to be in nature. It's not often that I get to take a proper break and spend time in nature anymore, but here I am. And I wanted to take the time to create a video about the restorative power of nature, because I think that it's something that is very useful to understand on the spiritual path, and perhaps not the sort of thing that you'd expect me to do on this channel. So a sense of oneness with nature and tuning into nature is probably not something that you would expect to see here unless you come from a Wiccan or a neo-pagan kind of a magical practice and it's a part of your regular routine. For that reason, you might not associate it with the sort of Western esotericism that I discuss on here, but I think that it is important to understand, and for so many reasons. For its health benefits for one thing, and its spiritual benefits for another, just being in nature, but also what it says about how we need to reorient as a species and consider the way we interact with our environment, the way we create the environment around us, and whether it is optimal for our spiritual development and our general well-being. So, you know, there's a range of reasons why it's important to be in a natural environment such as this from time to time. And one of those is the benefits to one's mental health and physical health for that matter. So in Japan, for example, there's a practice known as shinrin-yoku, or forest bathing. It's literally just going for a walk in the forest, hanging out in a forest, taking in the ambience, taking in the natural smells and colours and sensations, and just being in nature. And there are actually doctors who prescribe shinrin-yoku for a number of ailments and a number of challenges, mentally and physically, because it has the obvious effect of, you know, benefiting our mental health by just taking us out of that stressful environment of modern society for a while and letting us recharge mentally and psychologically. It gives us an opportunity to be calm in a kind of almost meditative Zen-like state as we kind of vibe with the very calm natural surrounds. But it also has a lot of other really physical benefits and almost like a medicinal benefits as well. So some more recent research on forest bathing and the benefits of forest bathing have discovered that trees emit a substance known as phytoncides. But what phytoncides do is they have a number of health benefits when we breathe them in. They lower our blood pressure, they lower our heart rate, our stress levels, and they even have an effect on our immune system. They boost our immune system. And so there are a whole range of benefits that come from just standing in nature for a period of time. You know, and not to mention there's a kind of philosophical component to this as well, because of course we often forget in our modern society that we're not just atomized individuals who are at war with everything around us. We are in fact part of something greater than ourselves. We're part of a society, for example. We're part of God. That's very important. And one of God's emanations is Malkut, which is the natural world. And so we are a part of nature as we are a part of God. And there's implications to that, because it means, when you really dwell on it, that we're all one thing. Like every one of these trees has evolved alongside mammals. And so there is a reciprocal relationship, there is a feedback loop between us and the plants. And we've evolved together, and we are, in essence, kind of like one system. And you could even go so far as to say we're one organism, because at some point there was the original amino acid, whether it came from a meteor or, you know, like from another world like in Prometheus, or whether it came from a lightning bolt striking a soup of chemicals in the primordial earth. But there was the first amino acid, and from that, all life sprung. And so we're all parts of the same tree in the sense of the tree of life in a biological sense. And so just as with a individual organism such as a human being, if there's an organ that isn't quite in alignment with the rest of the body, that causes sickness, we can think of ourselves as organs in the body of the ecosystem, even organs in the body of God. And if we are out of sync with our environment, it causes sickness for us, as well as sickness potentially for the system that we are a part of. And so part of our general health is understanding that we are more than just individuals and having that harmonious relationship with our environment. And you know, it's a hard thing to do in these modern times where we have alienated ourselves so much from our environment, and we've destroyed so much of our environment, and we've created these artificial environments where we pave everything with concrete and asphalt, and we make people spend all of their time in these tiny little cubicles. And you know, we create these systems where it's just, there's so many people in it that you can't possibly have a intimate relationship with anybody. And so it becomes like just being part of the machine. And you know, it creates mental health problems being in this alienating system. Of course, there's pollution and there's all sorts of, you know, detrimental impacts on our health from being in this artificial environment, or the chemicals that we pump our foods full of. You know, and it's just, it's not how we're supposed to be. We are going against our created purpose by constantly being in that kind of an environment. You know, you can tell the difference in the manner of people who have spent their lives, you know, living away from cities versus, you know, in the innermost city suburbs. You know, the latter tend to have a higher ratio of people that are just unhinged versus people who manage to get away from that environment. And you know, being a part of a city brings a certain energy with it. That there's an energetic signature to being part of a city, which is very dense and very negative most of the time. And there's an energetic signature to being in nature, which is much more positive. And I think we're seeing a situation now where, you know, where our parents or grandparents or great-grandparents would have looked for opportunities to leave their village or whatever it is to come into the big city for more opportunities there. People now are trying to flee the cities to more kind of rural areas, more regional areas, you know, even joining different kinds of communities, you know, closer-knit, smaller communities, more decentralized communities. There's an eco-village about 10, 20 minutes from here, you know, so people are getting sick of the current society, and you know, it's because of that alienation that we feel, and because it's not natural for us to be living the way we are right now. And if we can't get rid of the system with a revolution, then another way that the change might happen is just by people bailing. You know, just more and more people checking out of being part of this frantic, stressful society that we live in, and leaving the cities to find an alternative lifestyle and alternative forms of living that are more self-sufficient, that are more communal, that don't feed the machine. And I think we're starting to see it a bit already. But you know, hopefully industrial society will find the strength to change and become more harmonious with nature as a whole. But if that doesn't happen, there's other ways that we can escape, and there's other ways that we can build an alternative. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Nature is very important, and recognizing that we are a part of nature is also very important, and recognizing our own internal nature. So those are my thoughts on the restorative benefits of being in nature and how it relates to the spiritual path. I hope you enjoyed this video. Just take another look at this beautiful, beautiful environment one last time. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like. Subscribe to this channel to support my work, and if you want to give me extra support, hit join or thanks down below. But thank you again for listening, and I'll see you next time.